G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. I'm up here at Nilsson Bay, and I thought I'd just end the Friday with a 5am club. As you can see, there's hardly anyone on the beach. It's the end of the day, it's a little bit cold, and we've got some really thick, heavy cloud on the horizon coming up from the south. And I think tomorrow will be pretty wet and maybe stormy as well. So I'm not sure that I'm going to get the opportunity to do another 5am club in the morning, unless, of course, I've got an umbrella. So I've got one more to do for today. I've got a couple more to do, but I think I'll just do this one here and it'll be my last. This will be my 6th vlog for the day, and I'm making very, very good progress with all the book summaries that I'm getting through, and hopefully we can all learn something new and incorporate it in our daily lives. The book summary that I'm going through today is one that's been around for quite a while. I think many years actually, ever since that I was a young parent. Now I'm a grandparent, so I've come the full cycle again. But the message from this book is something that some of which I subscribe to, even though many people do find it confronting and have differing views. The book that I'm going to go through now is entitled Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother by Amy Chua. And it's a book which basically highlights the parenting style of not all Chinese, but some Chinese, and they talk about some of the advantages and some of the benefits that can be enjoyed by being a little bit more direct with your children, to enable them to, reach their potential. What I want to say is that as a parent, and this is an aside from the book summary, so I'm just talking off my own experience here, is that as a parent, all you really want is for your children to try and reach their potential. And one of the hardest things for a parent is to know that your child has the potential to do X, Y, and Z, and yet they have their little fears, they have their little negative experiences throughout their lives, which freezes them in their spot. So sometimes, and I think we've all learnt this, sometimes people need to be pushed. And as Bill Maywis once told me about a book that he once read, and this quote has stuck with me for over 30 years. He said that in order to soar, in order to fly high, in order to be majestic and magnificent, even an eagle, even eaglets need to get pushed out of the nest by their mother. So this book here goes into, a parenting style which is more direct than the parenting style that Westerners, people like you and I who grow up in Australia, America, England, or other countries. It's a style which is a little bit more direct and a little bit more pushy. But as the author says, there are some advantages, there are some benefits to be achieved. But just by knowing that this is how some parents bring up their children is also advantageous, because everybody, is brought up in a different environment. But here is another way that we can appreciate a different parenting style and maybe incorporate some of it into the way we manage ourselves or manage the people around us. So the author here kicks off the book by saying that basically nothing is fun until you're good at it. So the philosophy behind this tiger parenting is that in order to feel fulfilled, in order to enjoy what you're doing in life, you first need to become really good at it. And the only way to get good at things is by practicing it and by doing it over and over again. And naturally, practice and discipline isn't something that children enjoy, and sometimes it needs to be instilled by a disciplinarian style of parenting to get them to, get over the hump. Because every beginning, every activity, every challenge in life has a hump in the beginning where most people give up once they reach that hump. But by being pushed past that hump, then what the author is suggesting here is that you build momentum. You build your self-momentum because you start enjoying what you're doing, because you become better at it. And the better we get at doing things, the more fun it becomes and the more successful we become at it. So once again, the author doesn't make it a secret and says that most Westerners don't think that an authoritarian parenting style works all that well. So as we said, some people may get their noses out of joint at the material in this book, but let's see what we can come up with. Because the author says here that she grew up with strict parenting and gained many important life lessons from this style of harsh, strict parenting. Not only it's strict, but it's harshly strict. So, it's not just being strict, it's being very, very harsh is something that I want to try and highlight at the beginning. So if you want to prepare your children for the future, and this is the author's philosophy, if you want to prepare your children for the future, teach them to work hard and to not give up easy. I guess from that point of view, I was very, very similar in my parenting style with my children. I pushed my kids from a young age in a loving way, and what I didn't want them to do is to give up too early. I wanted them to give it a good crack, give it a good lick, and then if it didn't serve them, if it wasn't something that they enjoyed doing, by all means, let's do something else. But nothing was never an option. Now you didn't stop doing A in order to do nothing. We stopped doing A in order to do B or to do C. So there was always something to be done. And this is the philosophy of the tiger mother parenting style. So what the author here is saying again is that Westerners are reluctant to do anything that may harm a child's self-esteem. But the author here is saying that tiger parenting encourages their children to participate and to be persistent. And when things are tough and uncomfortable, to force them to continue, to show them that improvement and breakthroughs are possible and worth fighting for. So it's two different parenting styles, but as we said before, self-esteem and self-worth come with capability and being able to say that, I've been able to achieve this, this and this. And the only way you can achieve things is by doing them and by doing them consistently and getting to a point where you get some outcomes. So you stick to it for long enough to achieve some outcomes. So that's one of the key messages and key points to come from this book. So the author here reminds us that Westerners can learn a lot from tiger parenting, because the Chinese philosophy, or one of the Chinese philosophies, we're not saying that all people have the one philosophy, just like not all people have Greek philosophy, and Greek philosophy has many philosophies in it. But one Chinese philosophy is that enjoyment comes from something that you become good at. Not only good at, but great at. We need to persevere, push until you're good, because once you get to that point, then you start to enjoy life. Then you start to enjoy the fruits of your labour. Many children are pushed to practice musical instruments for 3 hours a day because happiness is the result of struggle and achievement. If you don't have the struggle, you can't experience real happiness. And for many parents, who have their children practicing 3 hours a day, that first hour of practice is just the warm-up. And this is one of the benefits that we may want to consider and think about. There are the tiger parents are far more direct with their children, whereas a Westerner tries to, in some ways, tippy-toe around the sensitivities. But what the author here is saying is that with tiger parenting, you tell the children what you think and be very, very direct about it. And there is a focus on excellence, and you make it known to the children that the reason why they come into the world, the reason why they go to the best schools, the reason why their parents work so hard, the reason why everything happens is an investment in the children's future, so that the children can invest in their children and their children's children's future. So there's no, you're coming into the life to have an easy life and just to loaf along and just to flip a coin and see where life takes you, wherever you drift to and wherever you end up. It is very intentional from a tiger parent's perspective. Life is a certain number of years. You get a certain number of opportunities. You get a certain number of days at school to learn things, to compare yourself, to contrast yourself, to benchmark and baseline yourself to other people who are the same age, to see where you fit and what level of achievement you're able to fit in at. So children are encouraged harshly to reach their potential, and there's no guessing from the child's perspective what the parent is thinking or what they're wondering, because the parent tells them exactly what she or he is thinking, and there is no sugarcoating, there is no confusion as to what the desired outcome is, and where you sit in the spectrum of achievement in terms of where you are, where you need to be, and where you've come from. So there you go. I'll finish up now, and I really got fired up. I really enjoyed that book, and there are many principles from tiger parenting that I enjoy. I was brought up in a Greek family, and I've got to tell you, my mother and father were very, very tough on me. They had high expectations in terms of me being able to become independent, to become a parent and a grandparent, and to lead the next generation and the following generations to their futures. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's make the most of this day. Let's be the wind beneath our wings and share these moments. So one of the highlights, or one of the things that I love about Jim's 5am Club is that we can vicariously experience what each other are doing. And with this technology, I can stand here on the beach 200 kilometres away from Sydney, and you can be part of this experience. So let's live, learn and pass it on. Be the gentle breeze beneath our wings. And as I said, let's learn from OPE, other people's experiences. One of the beauties of living in Australia is that we live in a multicultural country, society, where we can learn from each other. We can blend the best of every culture and create and enhance our own culture, knowing very well that the ancient Greeks in the ancient times, through their trading with other nations, were able to absorb, were able to infuse their culture with the best from other cultures, and also to pass on the best of their culture to other cultures as well. So we influence. The interdependence is very, very important and very, very powerful for each and every one of us. Because as we say, we springboard, we bounce off each other, and we learn from each other. So it's getting a bit dark now, so what I'll do is I'll finish up and thank you once again for joining me on this episode and being part of the journey, part of the wonderful journey known as Jim's 5am Club, which I thoroughly enjoy. I'm well over my 1,000 vlogs now in English, and I'll just keep on doing it for as long as I can, because I love sharing. I love learning, I love passing it on, and hopefully I want to be able to encourage others to do the same. So I think I'll leave it there. So Yassas, take care, bye for now, and we'll hopefully catch up tomorrow morning. Take care, bye for now. Cheers.